outside in the beautiful weather.
You know, I can't resist.
And by the river. I see you're by the East River, yes?
By the river. I'm in Canarsie territory. This literal spot that I'm in is where a huge massacre of Canarsie took place. But this was their village.
Wow.
This was their entire village, all the way over into Brooklyn. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'm waiting for the nightlight to come on.
Well, I'm going to.
It's going to come on any second.
That will be. You're looking beautiful anyway. Doesn't matter whether we have the light, but light is always good. So I want to introduce you to everybody. Oleana. Oh, this is Oleana Whispering Dove, and
Yes.
she is AKA Water Spider in the Oracle deck, in the new Oracle deck. And Oleana is now, I hope you'll help me, Juluji Algonquin. Is that correct? Did I say it right?
Shalagi Algonquin.
Okay. Native American descendant of Elsie and Betsy. She curates that. Oleana curates Native American public programs and exhibitions, spotlighting traditional and contemporary indigenous artists, while also working on behalf of the Ramapo Lenape Nation, which is kind of how we met.
Exactly how we met.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it was at the American Indian
Community House.
Near where you are right now.
And you had just started introducing us to the Lenape Women's exhibit.
Yes.
So everyone was eager to see what this was, because you're the first person to have photographed the Lenape women.
The women. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And we have, well, all women have so many stories that haven't been told. And my mission is just help bring them to light and help women also help be in control of their own stories also.
You're doing an excellent job of that.
Thank you.
From wherever your divinity or inspiration for this idea came, it has expanded. And you singularly have documented and preserved all of these. It's rich.
Yeah, amazing women.
It's totally rich.
And you're one of them.
Yeah.
And I remember, if I recall correctly, it's kind of a circuitous path to finding the water spider myth. And right?
Yes, it's very much so, because I'm so embedded in Lenape history that I almost forgot that I'm Shalagi Algonquin, and we had to tap into that, what my roots were, and find the symbol, the female symbol, and so the water spider is she. The water spider is the creation story for the Shalagi people. And it's a detailed, long story. So the abbreviated version is all of the masculine, two-legged and four-legged and eight-legged animals tried ever so diligently to bring fire to earth, right? Back to land, actually, because it was all the way in the middle of the ocean, buried in the bottom, under a sycamore tree. And after all of these gallant male creatures tried and failed, they looked to the little female water spider. They said, let her give it a shot. Everyone else has tried, right? And she just ever so gallantly takes the task on. And I don't know where she was in terms of I'll show them, or if she was just like, what's the big deal? But she glid out there and attached it to her back after diving deep to the bottom of the water, came back up unsinged, brought the fire back. Everyone was ever so glad that they put their trust in the water spider.
And she literally saved her people from freezing.
She saved her people from freezing to death. Absolutely correct, Lisa. That's the task that she was given. And that is a sense of spirit that anyone can tap into when they're feeling challenged or overwhelmed.
Right. Yes. So I'm glad you brought that up. I'm going to show your card because it has that message on it. So here's.
I'm going to try to. I don't know if you can see me clearly if I'm fading out.
Kind of dark.
Okay. If you don't mind, I'm going to walk to a lighter place until the light comes
100%.
on.
Do you remember?
Okay.
Oh, there you go. I can see you.
There I am.
There's your beautiful face.
Glad I thought of that.
All right.
I'm like, when is this light coming on?
Well, and here's the light. Also, is this? I believe this was the sun going down when we were.
Oh,
right. So,
isn't that interesting? Because the sun is going down literally right now.
Similar time of day.
Yes.
And do you remember what you wrote for the book about water spider as your? Well, let me frame this. The book is, and the oracle deck really was made to share the spirited wisdom of your sisters with the women, whoever it's with, so that I learned so much from all the women I've met, all the women I've photographed. I wanted to share with others and give their wisdom, share your wisdom, and all the women involved with a wider audience. So, do you remember what you wrote, the wisdom you shared?
I've been head first in proposals. It's not going to come up for me right now, Lisa.
I got it here.
But I can. Okay, let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay. This is what you wrote.
Okay.
You wrote, when there is a void induced by self-doubt, self-deprecation, and insecurities, we instinctively seek inspiration, motivation, and external reinforcement. However, there is a quiet voice that is always on alert, trying to be heard in moments of stillness. When this inner voice is developed and receives your trust, you have crossed the threshold and on the pathway toward faith.
That is exactly the description that when you asked me the question, what was I summoning up in that photo? That's exactly it.
Yeah. And
turn off the bells and whistles, get quiet and listen.
You know, and that, going back to the imagery, I'm a visual person rather than a word person. And here, I was thinking about this image a lot because it's been this task of creating this was very hard, was ambitious. And there were times of doubt, self-doubt, insecurities, questions. I would go back to this card and say, another part of the action is the seed of courage is planted with each conscious decision we make. I had already made the decision, and it helped me to remember. The decision was made, and the faith was there.
And it's just taking the steps through to get to the other side. And oftentimes we're just on the cusp of giving it birth, and we think it's not going to happen.
Right.
It's taking too long. It feels like it's taking too long. But faith, release it and let it go. And then all of a sudden, it all opens up, and then you're overwhelmed because now everything that you've ever asked for is coming all at once.
Well, and we work for it too.
We work for it. Well, I certainly have to, not have to, but I do admire that you were inspired to take what you've already done and expand even further. You've given voice now to all of the women that you've captured. You've given a voice now, and that voice will transcend throughout other generations, hopefully. That's the intention of the deck.
Yeah. And
so that other people will have inspiration, right?
Exactly. And my other intention behind it was that, and I feel that women do this anyway, I mean, organically, is to lift and support and hold each other up. And I'm standing standing in community with all, I'm standing right with you right now.
You.
And all the women are there for each other. And that's the whole point, is to be there for each other.
We're grateful. I haven't met all of the other women. I do know the Ramapo Lenape,
Sure.
but I'm certain that they are grateful that you saw them, that you saw not the outside, but you saw them. And I'll tell you, when I met you, you know, goosebumps. The goosebumps ran up my arms for what you were doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Little did I know that I would be asked to participate, right? But the goosebumps had already given me the signal.
Yeah. It's like electricity going around.
Yeah.
I think if we let each other be seen, I think that's an important thing, you know, to and no, I'm coming in trust, and then you allowed yourself to be seen, and then we co-created. You know, it didn't. We waited until the moment happened to tell the story. Going back to Water Spider, it took a while.
It took a while, and you know, also because you're used to being behind the scenes, and so am I.
Yes.
We both like being behind the scenes, so there was a huge amount of trust that was already given just by the nature of who you are and how you do your work process. It's a collaborative process.
Yeah.
And you allow the right, not angle, but the right seed to take place, to form, to germinate.
Oh, well, I want to thank you so much. I want to share that Oleana has a beautiful book out, a book of poetry, a very multi-talented curator, doing so much. And she has a book of poems out called Reflections of a Whispering Dove.
Yes, that's it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa.
Of course, we have to lift each other up.
We are lifting each other up.